Do you really need to take 10,000 steps a day? Hi there, everyone. I'm Jeff, and this is Plain English, where we help you upgrade your English with current events and trending topics. Today is September 21st, 2023, and this is lesson 609. That means JR has uploaded the full and complete lesson content to plainenglish.com/609. Coming up today, do you really need to take 10,000 steps a day? Now that we all carry pedometers in our pockets in the form of our phones, it's easy to count our steps and see how active we are. And 10,000 steps per day is the most popular goal. Today, we'll explore where that number came from and whether you really need to move around quite so much. In the second half of the lesson, I'll show you what it means to capitalize on a situation, and we have a song of the week. Let's get going. Over exactly the last 12 months, I have taken an average of 10,029 steps per day. This is according to my iPhone's health app. If my phone is correct, I'm just barely reaching the recommended number of steps per day. But I haven't always been so successful. In 2020, for example, the pandemic year in which we were all cooped up at home, I took only an average of 5,451 steps per day. And before the pandemic, I was averaging only about 7,000 steps per day. So that means for many years, I was falling well short of the recommended 10,000 steps per day. But how real is that recommendation anyway? You might be surprised at the number's origin. Modern smartphones have an accelerometer, which measures the phone's movement up and down, back and forth. If your phone is in your pocket or in a bag, it can log a step. But it hasn't always been that easy to track steps. You used to have to attach a plastic pedometer to your belt and wear it everywhere you went. Every time you took a step forward, the manual counter would advance one number. In the early 1960s, a Japanese clockmaker created an early pedometer, hoping to capitalize on the country's interest in fitness ahead of the 1964 Olympics in Tokyo. They called the pedometer the 10,000 step meter. It doesn't sound that great in English, but the Japanese character for 10,000 looks like a walking man. A nice coincidence in Japanese. And so the standard for 10,000 steps was born, not on the basis of any scientific study, but because of a coincidence. 10,000 steps, however, is a plausible number. Plenty of people achieve it, Clearly, I did. So people believed it, and as smartphone step counters spread, many people have walked around the block, taken the stairs, or parked far from the entrance just to reach 5 digits in their step counters. But is 10,000 the right number? Like most general exercise or general health advice, you should dig a little deeper to see if this number makes sense for you. Let's start with general health. If you are looking to extend your life expectancy and keep your heart healthy, then 8,000 steps gives you the best benefits if you're under 60. One study showed that people who took 8,000 steps a day were much less likely to suffer from heart disease compared to those who took just 4,000 steps. So this study and others found that going from 8,000 to 10,000 steps a day was fine, but it didn't give you much additional benefit in terms of heart health. Now, if you're over 60, then the story is a little different. You get the same benefits from about 6,000 steps. The key is energy efficiency. An older person expends more energy taking one step than a younger person does. So an older person's 6,000 steps are like a younger person's 8,000. So here's a question. Is a taller person's step the same as a shorter person's step? If the question is about energy expenditure, then the answer is yes. One step for a tall person burns the same amount of energy as one step for a short person. So my 10,000 steps are the same as a tall person's 10,000 steps. The only difference is that I cover less ground than the tall person for the same number of steps. Now still, this is highly general advice. If you follow an exercise routine, then you might be burning calories or getting exercise from things other than walking, in which case your step count is less relevant. And step count guidelines only really talk about general health, life expectancy, heart disease, things like that. If you're trying to lose weight, or if you have another fitness goal, step counts are not as relevant. Well, what's the average step count? It's only about 5,000 per day. So that means the average person could achieve a longer life expectancy by adding only about 2,000 to 3,000 steps per day, about the equivalent of a 20-minute walk. I never looked at the step count until the pandemic year, so I told you I averaged 5,000 per day in 2020, but that covers up the fact that early in the pandemic, I was getting like 1,500 to 2,000 per day, basically nothing. And I felt it too. I just felt like I wasn't moving. So that was the first time I opened up the health app to look at my step counts, more out of curiosity than anything else. And I was horrified at what I saw. Now, gyms were closed. Everything was closed. I was working at home. I was basically not moving. I was barely alive. And then I told myself, this cannot continue. So I got in the habit of going for long walks until I could get back into my exercise routine. Now, I don't really look at the step count anymore, except once in a while. I think my record back when I was roaming the city looking for an apartment was 21,000 per day, and I felt it the next morning. It's Thursday, so JR has a song of the week for us. He has selected Pyro by Kings of Leon. They're an alternative rock group, and they performed this song on Saturday Night Live in 2010. The song of the week is Pyro by Kings of Leon. If you want to hear a clip, I can't play it here, but I do post them to our Instagram stories. So follow us at Plain English Pod on Instagram and check out our stories to hear the songs each week. If you've ever taken an English class, you've probably heard the word capitalize. It means to make the first letter a capital letter. Like you need to capitalize names of countries. But today, I used the phrasal verb capitalize on, and it means something else entirely. That's next. Capitalize on means to take advantage of a situation or an opportunity. You use capitalize on when there's an opportunity to gain some type of advantage, and then you take that opportunity. Usually, when a country wins the rights to hold the Olympics, there's a general interest in sports and wellness before the games begin. People are learning about the sports that are coming. There's a lot of publicity. Physical activity is top of mind. If you sell potato chips, this is not a great opportunity. But if you sell fitness equipment, or if you are a company in the health and wellness space, then this is an opportunity for you. And in the early 1960s, a company in Japan decided to capitalize on the country's interest in fitness ahead of the Olympics. The company recognized that this was a favorable situation, a good opportunity for them, and the company decided to take advantage. This company made clocks, but they quickly made a pedometer, a small device that counts your steps. They marketed it as a 10,000 step meter, and it was a popular product. By making this product, the company capitalized on Japan's interest in fitness before the Olympics. You form this by saying capitalize on plus a thing or a situation that you will take advantage of. Capitalize on interest in fitness. So interest in fitness is the thing or situation that the company took advantage of. Let's try a few more examples. Threads, as you heard in lesson 594, is Meta's new app to compete with Twitter. The app reached over 100 million downloads, but that doesn't make it a success. That's a good situation, but getting people to download the app is just the beginning. Now, Meta needs to capitalize on that early success. They need to take advantage of it. This is a favorable circumstance. This is a good opportunity. The app is on people's phones. That's good. But now, Meta needs to capitalize on it. Meta needs to turn this opportunity into success. Let's see if they can do it. They have been slow to roll out new features like hashtags, and it's already been a few months. In lesson 592, you learned about live video game streaming. Twitch dominated the market for a long time. But then Twitch made a number of moves that angered its most popular streamers. So a new company called Kick decided to capitalize on frustration with Twitch. Capitalize on frustration with Twitch. That means the company decided to take advantage of creators' frustration with Twitch. So Kick launched its own competing service. Most often, you use capitalize on in a competitive situation, like in business. Here's another way to use it in sports. If one team makes a lot of mistakes, the other team will seek to capitalize on their mistakes. I just watched a baseball game in which one team walked 9 batters. That's bad. That's giving the opponent a gift. And sure enough, the other team capitalized on all those mistakes and won the game. The other team was given a gift and they took advantage of it. They capitalized on it and they won the game. Do you know the name Vivek Ramaswamy? He's running for president in America as a Republican, although he's technically running against Donald Trump. He takes every opportunity to praise the former president. It's a strange campaign. Anyway, the first Republican candidate's debate was last month, and Vivek Ramaswamy had a good night. He got a lot of attention, a lot of screen time during the debate. He had some good lines. But nobody votes at a debate. They vote in the primary elections and caucuses early next year. So Vivek Ramaswamy needs to capitalize on his good debate performance. What does that mean? He needs to use the momentum of the debate to raise money from campaign contributors. He needs to produce commercials and advertisements that reinforce his message from the debate. He should use clips from himself at the debate in online ads. He should book as many interviews on television as possible. He did great at the debate. That's good. It gives him an opportunity to improve his standing as a candidate, an opportunity. But now he needs to capitalize on that opportunity. He needs to take advantage of it. He needs to capitalize on his good debate performance. Well, that's all for now. This is sadly the end of Plain English for today, September 21st, 2023. But there are two pieces of good news, even as we have to say goodbye for now. The first piece is that the fun continues on the website at plainenglish.com/609, where you can find the full lesson with exercises, the video translations, and more. The other piece of good news is there is always another Plain English coming. It's never more than 4 days away, and there will be another one coming your way on Monday, so make sure to check back for that one. See you then.